What's up? What's on? What's up? What's on? What's up?
Rob G in the place to be. It is October 28th, 2017. It's been several weeks now since Daniel Larusso told Allie Mills to get off his case, and they haven't been talking. He's been seeing her in school from afar, but just kind of laying low. Now it's getting towards the end of October. Halloween is upon them, and the school is getting ready for the big Halloween dance. This is Karate Kid Season 2017, Episode 8, Halloween Dance. Daniel now solidified his friendship with Mr. Miyagi. I guess after school he's just hanging out in the South Seas Apartments maintenance workshop. Kid basically has no friends, he has no life. But again, this fatherless teenager really needed that father figure in his life, and that Mr. Miyagi is beginning to have a good influence on Daniel. So Mr. Miyagi walks into his workspace with a jack-o'-lantern and says to Daniel, "Happy Halloween, you like?" He says, "How was school?" "Oh, lots happening." "What's the matter? You not to go?" He goes, "Nah, how come?" "So I'm not into dancing." Mr. Miyagi says, "Too much by self, not good." "So I'm not by myself, I'm with you." And Miyagi replies that classic line, "To make honey, young bee need young flower." Daniel says he doesn't have a costume, but you notice the supplies hanging on the wall in the background. Miyagi says, "If you have a costume, you go?" Daniel says, "Yeah, maybe if I went as the Invisible Man." "Invisible Man?" "Yeah, so nobody would see me." Oh. So Daniel walks into the gym. He fools everybody except for Allie. Allie hanging out with her friends. She says, "Hey, there's Daniel." Susan's like, "Where?" "The shower." And the other girl's like, "How do you know?" She goes, "I just know. May I?" Pulls a flower out of the girl's costume. Comes up to Daniel, sticks that flower through the curtain. Help me, my flower needs watering." Curtain opens. "You come to the right place, stranger." So Daniel and Allie, after weeks of not talking to each other, are reunited, and they get reacquainted. They talk a little bit about Johnny, and how Johnny thinks he can do whatever he wants to people. Daniel has that line where he says, "Well, you know, what goes around comes around." She says, "I'd like to be there when it does." And he says, "Yeah, me too." So they dance for a while. They decide to go outside, and as they make their way out, there's a dude in a chicken costume who's cracking raw eggs on people. And boom, he cracks a raw egg on Daniel. So Daniel has to go to the restroom to clean off the egg yolk off of the top of his head. But while Daniel's in there, some of the Cobra Kai come marching in. I think it was Bobby Brown comes marching in looking for Johnny. And in the far stall, there's Johnny Lawrence rolling some joints of some Mary Jane. Those dudes are going to be getting high. So Daniel, again, after weeks of Johnny leaving him alone, decides this is the moment to get his revenge. So very stealthily, Daniel takes the hose and comes up and over the bathroom stalls, and he puts that hose right above Johnny in that toilet stall where he's rolling the joints. And all of a sudden Daniel turns on the faucet. He makes his way out of the bathroom, running into a dude who was dressed like Spider-Man.
"Hey, Johnny, what's up?"
Running through the gym past the Cobra Kai, he sees Allie. Allie's wondering what the heck's going on. He hands her the shower head from his costume and says, "It's coming around." They run out of the gym and onto the street where Daniel causes a multi-car collision. Interesting thing about that is that road is not really a road at all. It's actually an access way on the school campus. But in the movie, they made it look like it was actually a street in front of the school. Here's a shot from the movie, and that is myself in that same location, the gym. Again, shot of the movie. Current day, they use it as storage. Outside the gym, there's the doors. There's the doors from our trip in 2013. And there's the road where the crash took place, but as you can see, it's just an access way on campus. But Daniel is running for his life. The Cobra Kai are after him. They hop the fence, and Daniel's running across that field on his way to his apartment. This is really cool. In 2013, when Kelly and I went to the filming locations, that open field was still there next to the South Seas apartments. Rumor has it, I haven't been able to verify this, but a few years later, they began to develop that property. It'd be interesting to go back and find out if indeed something has been built on that empty lot. But could you believe it? For over 30 years, that lot remained empty. So as Daniel's running across that field, the fog is kind of rolling in. And if you look very carefully in the background, you can actually see one of the smoke machines just throwing out little puffs of fake smoke. But it adds to the ambiance of the scene. It's scary. The guys are dressed up as skeletons, and they catch up to Daniel. He tries to hop the fence, but they grab him, they pull him down.
Whip! You couldn't leave well enough alone. Could you, little twerp? No, you had to push it. Well, now you're gonna pay.
Oh, where are you going, sweetheart?
Where you going, sweetheart? And that was a McQueen. I forgot his first name. But this is the son of, well, let me show you. Right here, this dude, right here, bad hombre. Right here, Steve McQueen, the man, the myth, the legend. That is the father of the character who plays Dutch.
That don't mean squat.
So Johnny has had enough, and he kicks the tar out of Daniel. Bobby Brown feels that Johnny is going a little too far, and he says, Johnny, leave him alone, he's had enough. Johnny says, I'll decide when he's had enough. He goes, what is wrong with you? An enemy deserves no mercy. Right, 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 right. So they're holding him up. He can't even stand. And Johnny's going in for the for the final kick. But at the last second, right before he would kick him, Mr. Miyagi, like a ninja, jumps over the fence, throwing Daniel to the ground, landing in the middle of the Cobra Kai. And these guys are like, what's this old dude doing here? They start to attack him. Mr. Miyagi, boom, one by one, starts taking each of the Cobra Kai out until none of them remain. He sees Daniel on the ground, picks Daniel up, takes him back into Mr. Miyagi's workshop. So this next scene is really interesting because it is one continuous shot, and it goes on for several minutes, but it's Daniel coming to with Mr. Miyagi preparing some tea and getting some type of ointment ready on the famous Mr. Miyagi karate bandana. But he starts to treat Daniel's wounds. Daniel comes to because of the stink of this remedy. He goes, what is that? It stinks. He goes, smell bad, heal good. But Daniel comes to and he asks, where's Spider-Man? Mr. Miyagi is a little confused and he says, come on, Spider-Man, the guy that bailed me out. Miyagi, in his humble way, just kind of looks down and kind of chuckles a little bit, and Daniel says, what, you? Little nod. He goes, no way, no way. And Miyagi says, well, why no way? Because, old man? And Daniel says, well, how come? He goes, I didn't know you knew karate. He said his father taught him. He goes, I thought your father was a gardener. Well, he learns that in Okinawa, all Miyagi know two things, how to fish and karate. And Miyagi goes on, it's where we learn about how karate came from China in the 16th century, and it was called tei, hand. But later, Miyagi's ancestor decided to call it karate, open hand. Daniel says, I always thought it came from Buddhist temples and things like that. Miyagi's reply, you too much TV. But they have this conversation about karate and if Miyagi has ever trained anybody. And of course, Miyagi has not. But Daniel asks him, would you? Depends. Depends on what? On the reason. Well, Daniel's reason is revenge. And Miyagi is clearly not down with that. He explains to Daniel that karate is for defense only. That's not what these guys are taught. Miyagi says no such thing as bad student, only bad teacher. Teacher say, student do. So Daniel sarcastically says, hey, that solves my problem. I'll just go down to the school and work it out. And Miyagi says, that sounds like a great idea. Daniel says, I was just kidding. Well, why kidding? Because I'll get killed if I go down there. Miyagi says, get killed anyway. Great line. But Daniel asks Mr. Miyagi, would you come with me? Miyagi is reluctant. He doesn't want to get involved. And that kind of ticks Daniel off. So Daniel says, well, thanks for nothing. Starts leaving the workshop and he says, don't do me any more favors, pal. Miyagi finally has to say, Daniel-san. What? Okay, I'll go. And that thrills Daniel. Daniel's really excited about it. And before he leaves the workshop, he says, Mr. Miyagi, what kind of belt do you have?
Hey, what kind of belt do you have?
Mr. Miyagi lifts up his shirt to reveal his canvas belt, and he says, canvas, you like? J.C. Penney, $3.98. Ha 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 ha.
Canvas, you like? J.C. Penney, $3.98.
No, I didn't mean a belt like...
One of my favorite lines in the movie. In Okinawa, belt mean no need rope to hold up pants. Ha 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 ha.
In Okinawa, belt mean no need rope, hold up pants.
Daniel thinks that's funny, sorta. But then Miyagi comes back with that wisdom, and he says, Daniel, karate is here. Karate is here. Karate is never here. The waistline, the belt. He says, do you understand?
You understand.
Daniel says, I understand. I'll see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Thank you for watching this episode of Karate Kid Season 2017. Come back tomorrow as we'll look at Daniel's first day of training with Mr. Miyagi. It's going to be good. But be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment. I'd love to reply and to respond to your comments. And share this video if you would. I'd really appreciate it. And do me a favor, smash that like button down below. But hey, until tomorrow, this is Rob G. And I am out.